Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm joined with Jordan and Jordan's from America. And today well, he's going to be like sharing his Crohn's journey so far. And it's going to be really nice to talk to you. So thanks Jordan for coming on today.
Of course, glad to be with you.
Yeah. So do you want to do a little introduction of yourself? Just say who you are.
Yeah. My name's Jordan Agan. I'm 33 years old, soon to be 34 in a month, little under a month. I am a sci-fi junkie, as evident of my tag name on Instagram is Crohnstropper. That's evident when oh no, with a costuming group I'm a part of. It's kind of a nickname I have with another fellow individual. We're stormtroopers by trade. We costume with the 501st Legion, and I'm a member of that as well. My profession is I'm a teacher, specifically an elementary teacher. I've taught second grade for 4 years, no, 5 years, and then I became a reading teacher 5 years after that, helping students that have trouble picking up the code. And that's what I'm currently doing now.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, I like your Stormtrooper helmet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't know whether to sport it right away or not. Didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't see it until you. I didn't know you had it with you. But yeah, like I guess you like Star Wars then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
About any sci-fi series you mention, I will probably say I either have watched it or watched some of it or like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like normally when I do quite a lot of episodes on my podcast, people always put up like the blue box from Doctor Who. That down over here. So I like sci-fi too. um, it's it's nice, especially if you're maybe in a flare or something, maybe with your Crohn's or you're not feeling too well. Maybe watch something made like Star Wars, for example. Takes your mind off it a little bit.
Yeah. Or wish your life was more like Star Trek when there's no diseases. That'd be great.
That would be great. That'd be a good world to live in. Yeah. So so with your Crohn's, what like when was you diagnosed?
I was 18. I'm not sure how this equivalates over to you guys. We say when you're in high school, after you complete middle school or you guys consider it primary school, don't you? The elementary grades.
Yeah, like it goes like I think 1 to 6 years is primary, and then it's high school, and then after that it kind of goes to college. So I think you're right.
Okay. Well, I was in high school. I was 18. It was my senior year. We say freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. In my senior year, I had just finished up participating in our high school's fall musical. And it was actually, I don't know if you want to say coincidence or not, but we had just finished up the play, and I think one weekend, like the weekend after, I went back to school and had my first, I guess you'd say, like really bad episode. I had been in the emergency room previous weekends, just with really bad pain, vomiting. A couple times the medical staff there said, "Oh, you're having appendicitis." Wasn't appendicitis. because they would do a CT scan and say, oh, it's not appendicitis and your white count isn't up. Right. So it took a couple times, quite a few times, to being in the emergency room before figuring out. And then after that first stay in the hospital, I was in the hospital for about a week. They still didn't have any idea what the issue was. Let's see. And then I think a surgeon in it that would come to the hospital where I was at, living in a small town, sometimes the medical staff is brought from bigger cities to smaller towns because not very many people want to relocate to a small town. So this visiting surgeon from a bigger hospital was at the hospital where I was, and he said, I want to do a colonoscopy on you. Great. Here I am, 18. Aren't colonoscopies for like old people? So did a colonoscopy, and I had a ton of scar tissue, polyps. It was really in my large intestines, and I think small intestines too at a certain point were inflamed. and then the surgeon had a conversation with my parents and said, yeah, your son more than likely has Crohn's disease. What? What is that? So that first hospital stay was like in November of 2007. Fast forward to January or 2006, and then fast forward to January 2007, I finally get told after having a number of blood tests, that colonoscopy, and finally get the official diagnosis then.
Yeah, so start of 2007, they told you.
And the rest of that year, especially from like January to April, it was like a game of, well, it's the weekend, I guess I'll go spend some time in the emergency room just because. Today I feel pretty lousy. I went from being, let's see, I'd say like 180 pounds to about, by the time March rolled around, I got down to 139.
Okay.
I mean, so yeah, it was a rough beginning. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think at the start it is always rough, isn't it? And then things start to probably improve and make it worse. A bit like a yo-yo, isn't it?
Yes.
You just don't know.
Either a yo-yo or a roller coaster. I'm not sure which. Maybe doing a yo-yo routine while in a roller coaster.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, I think that's it. But yeah, are you doing okay at the moment? Like,
Yes. I finally. It's currently in my Crohn's is currently in remission. I think I had a little flare back in October, which led me to having to come back to the States. I was actually in the UK on a teaching job on a US Air Force base. And because of just a myriad of issues that went wrong, I just said, well, this job is not for me. So I said, yeah, sorry guys, this isn't working. I'm gonna go back to the States.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? For like, I suppose people don't understand it, like your Crohn's, or like because like when you do have like different jobs, because it must be hard because you don't know if you're gonna go on a flares, all kind of sudden.
Yes, there's a commercial that airs on TV sometimes for a medication here. If you have Crohn's or colitis, your plans can change on a minute's notice. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Do you check any like medication at the moment?
Yeah, I for when I first got diagnosed, I was on Pentasa. That was the name of it. I don't know what the or brand name of it. I don't remember what the medical name of it is. And then that in combination with corticosteroids, lovely, lovely drugs, um, and antibiotics, because I think, did I have an infection when I first started? I think they just started me on antibiotics. That's been a while ago, so it's kind of hard to remember.
Yeah.
But now I am on Avsala. It's a generic of a biologic known as infliximab.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't heard of that one.
Mm.
I've been on infliximab though.
Yeah, oh, I was on that, but here in the States, it's not your doctor's opinion that matters. It's what the insurance company wants to pay for.
Mm, yeah.
So I got switched to that in order to save money.
Oh, yeah, because yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Um, yeah, like with antibiotics, it's always a risk to go on that because it can cause lots of things.
Hmm.
Like I was actually on them recently, um, and like well, as we were talking and like recording this, I've had blood in my stools for the last couple of days, and I was on an antibiotic for, I don't think it was a Crohn's issue. It was just a lump somewhere,
Hmm.
and I was on that, and that's gone. And then yeah, but it happens now and then though, having bl blood in my stools. There's nothing. There's there's always answers that you don't get sometimes.
Or you just sometimes you don't want to go through the process of trying to figure it out, because by the time you figure it out, something else is wrong and just
Mm,
further adds to the list and frustration.
yes. Yeah. Makes us frustrated, don't it?
Very much so.
Yeah. So like, have you ever had surgery?
Yes. When I went to college, I was in the midst of my junior year, second to last year of college, and I started to have issues again, pain, vomiting, and the pain in the abdomen, blood in the stools, all that good fun GI, for lack of a better term, crap. Um, I think, and it was really tough too because I had just added a major,
Oh,
and so I was double majoring in college, and so I was picking up classes that you would normally take as an underclassman to catch up to where a person would be had they started right away. But so doing as a teacher, you have to do what's known as practicums, where you go into a classroom and kind of see what's what and how things work that you're getting taught, how they work in a general classroom, that type of thing, mixed with coursework in my other major and coursework in my education stuff. So along with writing papers and going to classrooms during the day, you have to deal with the Crohn stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Like, like, do you tell like the students that you have about your Crohn's, or do you prefer to keep that private?
Um, I am open with my students once we get going. Depending on the age is really a factor. Because unless a little munchkin has like a parent or a sister or brother, or another relative that has some sort of ailment, it's kind of hard to relate that to a little one.
Yeah.
But the older students, I'm upfront, because I'll have to take a day off of school and go get an infusion. They go, "Where were you, Mr. Agan?" I said, "Well, I told you I had to go to the hospital." Boo. Yeah. So, yeah, but back to your question, I was in college when I had to have surgery. I had 7 inches of my colon removed.
Okay.
And then ileum, I don't think they took much of my small intestine. It was mostly my colon.
And then, do you think that helped?
It did, for a time. Everyone has their good days and bad days. I think I have a lot less bad days. I'm able to have more food than I had prior to the surgery. Like I can get away with roughage. Surprisingly, I can get away with nuts now, but not on a continuous everyday type of thing. Yeah, a lot of foods I could incorporate back into my diet because it didn't feel like concrete was going through my system.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard with foods like and stuff because you just don't know what you can and you can't. Because like I have to stick away from caffeine. I have decaf. So I'll still drink. It still tastes the same to me, but like a coffee in the morning or something like that.
Yeah. Coffee. I like coffee as well, but it does not like me. So I tend to have coffee on the weekends because the daily schedule doesn't allow for as many times as going to the bathroom as you would need to if I were to have a cup of coffee or so in the morning. But funny enough is I can get away with drinking tea. I'll do that mostly every day.
Okay.
Have you had that?
Like funny enough, I used to have coffee most days, but I don't because I have to get up early and I don't have time. um, but yeah, I'm not much as a tea person though. I'm not. I have probably tea once in a while, but I'm more of a coffee person.
Gotcha.
Like food wise, I would like when I was diagnosed, I had to stay away from spicy foods because they triggered me. Which I didn't like because I did like spicy foods. Because I don't know, I was about 16 turning 17, so that was in 2017, funny enough. Rhymes. Um, but yeah, I had to stay away from that kind of stuff. I couldn't eat much either. I lost quite a lot of weight too. And me too. I was diagnosed via Crohnstropper.
It's funny the number of colonoscopies I've had. Uh, I remember. I think I was in college, and by that time I had uh, at least 7, somewhere in there. And my dad, who's 66, finally had his first one then, and I'm just like, geez, Dad, I've had more than you. you're at the age now where you got to be getting those every so often. So it is what it is.
It is what it is. Like, we have to have them. I'll say that I've only had one. I had one when I was diagnosed, and last year I had a sigmoidoscopy. So I've only had really 2 procedures. I haven't had surgery as of yet. Yeah, that is good.
Keep it that way, hopefully.
Let's hope so. I nearly did have surgery though, like at the start, because I had to fight to get an appointment when I was really poorly, and it's good job that did happen because otherwise I would need a surgery. But yeah, it's the things you fear when you have Crohn's, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That and making just the amount of quick planning that you may or may not have to do
Mm-hmm.
based on when you're at your worst, how many medications you have to take in a day. I mean, there was a time when I was taking 27 pills in a day.
No.
So or does wherever you're going, does that place have a bathroom? Can you get there? Is it a pleasant bathroom, or is it a is it a real heap? So just things like that. Does their toilet paper suck? just little things that I don't think an average person deals with on a daily basis.
No, like an average person would have to deal with blood in the toilet quite frequently. Also, for example, you have to go to hospital a lot more times than a person that doesn't have Crohn's or like a chronic illness. Which is annoying. But I suppose it's not that bad if you're doing okay and you only go once in a while for that occasional checkup or blood test. That's okay. But I don't really like waiting. For like if you're in an appointment, or something that does annoy me if you're there and someone's running over time, and it's annoying because I like to be there. I'm there on time, so you would expect the other like doctor or someone else to be on time too.
Yeah. That's where for me, I don't, that doesn't bug me as much because that's where I get to read. Reading is a good thing for me. Some people I see in the waiting room just have their either earbuds or headphones and listening to music. That's my thing to pass the time. I don't have to be anywhere. They'll get to me when they get to me.
Okay. So, you're easy going there.
Try to be. If it's heading towards 30 minutes past the time, and you're like, okay, I've been here long enough. Usually you've like, and then when you get into the appointment, I don't know if this is a British doctor thing, but there's a running joke that, like, if you're in the hospital, the doctor will be in the room with you for 13 seconds and then they're gone.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing there or not. The actual appointment itself takes less time than the waiting does. So
Yeah, most of the time it does. I suppose it depends on what reason you're there for. Like if it's just a checkup, I've been in there less than 5 minutes, like you say. Um, but yeah, it's annoying. Like it could be nice just to see waiting that long.
mm,
Yeah, I've had to wait a couple of hours before.
holy
uh,
cow.
Um, from I think my consultant at the hospital, which I don't like waiting. It's like for example, like school, like in your class, maybe if someone's late for a lesson, you're not going to be probably if they haven't told you in advance, you're not going to be too pleased. um,
Yeah.
and in this situation, from consultant and the actual person to see him, it's almost like he's the teacher and you're the student, and the student's on time and the teacher's late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. That is an accurate comparison, because as a teacher, you try to keep things in a keep things in a schedule, and then when things get out of the schedule, uh trying to play catch up is always harder.
It is.
So yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, it is. But as long as it's done, it's fine. The thing is, if you're there for some like news and like if it's bad news, you want to be kind of quicker. But if it's good news, you don't mind if you're waiting that long, I suppose. Um, but it's just because you don't know what he's gonna say, do you? Like, well, when you walk in the room, um, it could be all sorts.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, Jordan, when did you say? But when did you kind of decide to speak about it, like on like publicly, like have an account and talk about it a little bit, like your friends?
Um, I'd say I'd say uh, after my second real bad bout with it, when I was back in the hospital again in college. There you're there to try and figure out what you want to do the rest of your life. How you can do that in 4 years, I still don't understand. um, uh, but there you're learning and seeing what other people are vocal about, and I would say that's kind of when uh, I started to develop a voice of my own. um, and I try to be transparent with the school that I'm working with, as you're being interviewed for a job. At some point, I try to bring that up and be upfront and say, "Hey, I have Crohn's disease. Um, this is, in a nutshell, what my reality is like. Every 6 weeks, I got to go get an infusion." Uh, and if I hope this doesn't affect um, your hiring or not hiring of me, but I prefer to be transparent. Um, I just think it's better to be upfront and honest, I guess, and that started back in college when I had to be upfront with my professors. Um, a lot of them would go, "What is it?" So, in addition to all the other coursework and stuff that you're doing in that time. You have to be knowledgeable, and then not only being knowledgeable, but being able to explain what it is to someone else. Kind of a bit like teaching, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems that way. Like when you talk about like you're crying to someone who doesn't know about it, it is almost like teaching, isn't it? Because you feel like you are the teacher and they're the student.
And it's all about trying to relate it in any way possible. It was actually kind of a good thing when I was going through the bout that I was, because like one of my professors, he was dealing with his dad going through a battling bout of cancer. So it just kind of connected the dots, because he was having to take him to his treatments, and so it's just there's some good that comes from having Crohn's. It's
Yeah,
not all bad, and
it's
but sometimes that scale tips towards that bad side. Not saying it doesn't, because it does.
unfortunately it does, but like I said, there are some good things about Crohn's. I always say to speak to new people out there who have it themselves is always fun. Because wouldn't be doing it otherwise, would we?
Right.
Yeah, because there's people all over the world have it, and I didn't know that at first. I thought they say it's rare, not many people in the world have it. I think that's what most people automatically think.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I remember first hearing about it. We tried contacting a family that was in a nearby town. So it's, in the wider area, only one other family had it in a span of 30 miles. And then, your connections get further out there, and you go, oh, well, my cousin or my uncle or aunt have it, that type of thing. But
Yeah,
it's always nerve-wracking at first.
Yeah, you always hear that now, don't you? Like people saying that I know someone who has Crohn's and stuff. But people may know, but they may not know like that. Well, they won't what it's like, because it's very hard to explain to someone who doesn't know, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Well,
relatability is sometimes hard,
yeah. Yes.
especially if they themselves or anyone in their immediate family hasn't had to deal with a chronic ailment, whatever that might be.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. Before we go, Jordan, because I think we've had a really good conversation about Crohn's.
I apologize. It's getting really windy for a second.
No worries.
Good grief.
Is that do you want to say any advice about Crohn's?
Yeah. I would say a couple of things. Educate yourself. Educate those around you. Don't give up. There are going to be really, really hard times. There are going to be really, really tough times. But that's when you doing the groundwork of informing those around you, and then lean on those individuals. Develop a support network, because dealing with stuff alone is not a good thing. Really develop those close relationships, and be open with those individuals. Don't have to be open with everybody, but those you would consider close friends and family, lean on them.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Jordan, for that. I completely agree. Thanks for showing us your stormtrooper helmet. Yeah,
Of course.
yeah, and it's been great speaking to you, and I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's great to be with you.